About a month ago, I talked to you about Facebook making a major investment, about $5.7 billion, into a company called Jio in India. And it was, as I explained, an opportunity for Facebook to take everything that they learned here in the United States with a population of $350 million and apply it to a population of 1.35 billion people, and knowing also that only 40 to 50% of the current people in India have internet access. So it's a huge opportunity, and Jio is in fact the largest telecommunication company in India. It's owned by the richest man in India and has a tremendous amount of political influence. So Facebook saw it as an opportunity. Subsequently, a number of other people like Qualcomm and now Google have made entries into India as well. So as the title of this video says, Follow the Money to India, indicates, we know that Google and Facebook and Amazon are all strong companies here in the United States, and they deal with a population of 350 million people. But now they have an opportunity in India to deal with roughly 4 times that amount of people. So it is smart to stay with the big 6, as I said, plus Tesla, and plus I believe you'll probably see Square head in that direction as well. It's just too big of an opportunity to pass up. Now, the other thing I want you to know is that Walmart and Amazon are over there as well. Walmart invested $16 billion in a company by the name of Flipkart, which is now Amazon's biggest competition in India. So Walmart made a move back in 2018, actually, into Flipkart. And so India is a place we need to put on our radar and pay attention to. You're going to see a lot of movement in that direction. I think the other thing you need to recognize is, if you follow the news, you know India just cut about 20 apps are not from China, are no longer allowed in India. And this had a lot to do with a skirmish that occurred on the borders between India and China a couple of weeks ago, where 20 Indian soldiers were killed. And so the relationships between India and China are a bit tense right now. That's not to say they aren't a bit tense right now with the United States as well. And I think you need to read into what's going to happen. You've heard on a regular basis our politicians referring to this pandemic as a war. Now, the last time the world was at war was World War II, and shortly after that war, there was a summit at Bretton Woods in July of, I believe it was 1945, where all the allies, the victims of the German aggression and the Japanese aggression, sat down and said, how are we going to make sure this never happens again, and how are we going to punish Japan and Germany as a result of their aggressive actions? Well, I believe there is going to be another Bretton Woods. It may not be in Bretton Woods, but we're going to sit down, those of us countries, and it'll possibly happen at the United Nations, and say, we just fought World War III, and it was through the negligence of China that all this devastation has been put on the rest of the world. And there's going to be some consequences. Now, I want you to recognize, then you might say, well, China's just going to say, oh, okay, and move on. Well, you need to understand, they just alienated India through another action that they have. And you need to recognize that China's not on as strong a ground as you might think they are. I again would encourage you to read this, The Accidental Superpower by Peter Zion. China, if you and you're probably too young to remember, but back in 1975, China believed they were going to be overrun with people. So they created a one baby policy. And that basically was that each couple was only allowed to have one child. Well, as a result of the China culture, which was very agricultural, they decided they wanted boys. So there was a tremendous amount of abortions if your first child was a girl. So number one, you have a demographic void from 1975 to 2015 when the one baby policy was written off. And so you don't have workers. Those workers that you do have are in two categories. One, they're male. Number two, they're female. The males stay out in the hinterland and work the farms. That's why when you see a factory setting of people making iPhones, it's all women, because those women have been brought in to do the labor. Well, if the women are in the factories making the phones, and the men are in the fields taking care of the crops, guess what doesn't happen? So they have a problem there. The other problems that China has is they have no natural gas. They actually import natural gas from the United States. Down in Louisiana, there's a plant that takes natural gas and freezes it down to something like 60 degrees below zero, where it turns into a liquid, and they put it on a tanker and they take it to China, and that's China's source of natural gas. They also don't have oil. And so they have a pipeline that, and if you know anything about, I've spent a month in China, that Russia is up on the, what would it be, the, I guess, northeastern corner, and Shanghai and Beijing and all the big capitals, the big cities of China are on the East Coast. So you have an enormous pipeline moving across that is very vulnerable. If, in fact, we have a Bretton Woods and there are punishments directed at China, they're extremely vulnerable. They have a lot of problems. So my point is the emphasis is going to go towards India. And so we need to recognize as investors that India is where the opportunity is going to lie and where the fruit is going to be harvested. So as we see Google and Amazon and Facebook setting up camp in India, this is a good thing. This tells me that they're here to stay. They're going to be a stock that I want to hold probably as long as I live, until, as I have said, they give me a reason to sell. I don't see them giving me a reason to sell. So I see them as long-term holdings. In fact, today, as Amazon is being preyed on by the wolves and their stock is down some 2%, I've gone in and added to my position with Amazon, because again, I said, my God, Kerry, it's $3,000 a share. Why do you want to buy more at that price? Because I think it's going to $6,000 a share. When I see them as successful as they are in the United States with 350 million people, what the potential for them is if they now have 1.35 billion people, new people to market to. I want to be a part of that. I have a favor to ask you. If you participate on my morning market letter, you know down on the bottom I ask you to subscribe to Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a morning email letter that very concisely sums up not only the stock market news, but all news. But they are a sizable company. They have a mailing list of 1.8 million people, and from best I can determine, they make about $3 million off of that by selling advertising on their on their channel. I see this as an opportunity for our tribe. I see this as an opportunity for our tribe to make another $300 million or $3 million. Now, what do I mean when I say that? Our tribe, I can't do it. I'm having a tough enough time just getting that skimpy little newsletter that I put out each morning done. I then have to sit down and do my research. I then have to do a video. I need help. And some of you are stepping up and saying, I'd be willing to help. Well, there's opportunities in that. What is that going to look like? I'm not real sure, but I think what it's going to look like is you're going to be a part of this newsletter company, and you'll own so many shares of it. It won't be a stock, but you'll own so many shares, and based upon your input, whether you're a contributor, whether you're an organizer, whether you're the mailer, whatever, you'll get a part of that $3 million that it generates. So I'm wearing my Morning Brew t-shirt today, and I got this for when 50 of you signed up, and then I got this, it's a sweatshirt, when 100 of you signed up, and what I'm shooting for is 1,000. Right now I'm about 650 short, so I need you, when you get my morning plan, you're going to see down there a link to sign up for Morning Brew. Why do I want to do that? Because at 1,000, they fly me to New York to meet with the founders. What I want to do is pick their founder's head so that I learn what they do, how they do it, where else they generate money with that, so that we can put that into this tribe. Again, I want to emphasize, this is not all about me. I am creating something that you can benefit from, either from the information that I share with you, or potentially I can put some money in your pocket. But I can't do it by myself. I did the video where I talked about the wolves feeding on the weak. And one of you wrote me and said, yes, you're a wolf feeding on us. Please tell me how I'm feeding on you, and I will stop it. If you feel my teeth in your arm or in the back of your neck, I want you to tell me, because I'm not. I am not feeding on you. Now, I want to point out something else. There are some people, I want you to watch Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's going to teach you about the dump and pump world, and it still exists. Now, the changes in the use of telephones has pretty much gotten rid of the phone rooms like you see in The Wolf of Wall Street. But it merely moved. The wolves merely changed their delivery method. They now come at us through the internet. They now come at you through my channel. You will see in my comment section, you will see someone give me a nice flowery comment, and then he'll go into a 2-paragraph message, and then immediately below that you'll see anywhere from 7 to 24 comments. These are the wolves. These are the people who are beating the drum about some financial advisor or somebody who has made them a lot of money. These are the wolves of Wall Street. They are trying to get you to click on their connection, or they are trying to get you to phone that advisor, and you are now part of their prey. So I want you to know they're there. I have the ability to delete them, but they actually help my count. So I want you to be aware of them. They're there. Just know what they are and pay them no mind, or see what they're doing and familiarize yourself with this. This world has not changed because they can't call you on the phone anymore. The wolf will merely find another way to prey on you. So be aware they're there, and pay them no mind, and let them push my algorithm higher so that we can get to our 1.8 million faster, so we can take and create new channels of revenue for the tribe. I was asked, do I get inquiries from the wolves to push their stocks? Yes, I do. I will never do that. I will, if I don't know them And if I'm not comfortable with them, you'll never hear me talk about them. That is a promise to you. And whoever you were who feels my teeth in your back neck, in the back of your neck, please explain to me what I'm doing to feed on you. Okay. I think India is an opportunity for Facebook, for Google, for Apple, for all of them, and it's an opportunity for us.